Hey everybody, and welcome back to the board meeting. Today we are continuing my series of my top 100 games of all time. This is the second video of the series, so we are doing my 90th through my 81st favorite games of all time. I love doing these lists, and this is my favorite list to do every single year. With that being said, let's just jump right into the list. I don't want to dilly-dally too much about this. So let's go to my 90th favorite game, which this year had a big drop. This is Paladins of the West Kingdom. This is a massive, big, sprawling game. It's part of the West Kingdom trilogy done by Shem Phillips and S.J. McDonald. This, to me, is the hardest game of the three to get to the table because it is the most complex of the three. It's also the biggest table presence for it. It is a massive game. I play this game usually solo because it's so hard to get to the table with other people. But I play it on my 3-foot by 4-foot gaming table, and it takes almost every inch of that table. It is this big game, and there's a lot of moving parts in this game. And I think that's kind of why it's dropped. Every time I've played it, I kind of have to relearn a couple things here and there. And now it's got an expansion with it. It's actually right here. That's the big box collector's edition box. It was hard enough to get to the table before. Now it's got an expansion, which I love the expansion as well. It adds a little bit more. It's a fun game, but yeah, it's dropped. I still like it a lot, obviously, it being number 90, but it is one of the biggest drops of the year for me, and I think it's just because it's harder to get to the table. I think I've played it 3 times last year, and it was all solo games instead of playing multiplayer. But yeah, really, really good game. And it's part of that West Kingdom trilogy that I really like quite a bit. Let us go to number 89. Number 89 is a worker placement game. This is Champions of Midgard. This is a worker placement Viking-themed game where you have to defend Midgard from these giant trolls and beasts that are attacking. And you're going to be putting out workers, getting resources, getting warriors, which are dice. And then you're going to defend Midgard with them rolling the dice. So there's a bit of luck to that. You can also send your warriors overseas to try and kill even bigger beasts for the bigger points. This is a really fun game, and I've never played the expansion for it. I always hear about the expansions for this game, that they're necessary, that you need them. And this game is already an 89 without the expansions, so I think I probably should get the expansions for this sometime soon. But yeah, I really enjoy that. It kind of is this... It's a mesh of Euro-themed worker placement games with the Ameritrash, with the dice rolling and everything like that. So yes, number 89, Champions of Midgard. Moving quickly on to 88th game, which is a small flip and write sort of game. This is Trails of Tucana. This is a game where you are going to flip a couple of these cards, and it's going to have 2 terrains on them. And you are going to, on your own personal board, draw a line from one of those terrain types to the other terrain type that is adjacent to it. And so you are building these routes on your board, trying to go around, connecting these different things on the player boards, and bringing them back to these home spaces and collecting them. And you're going to do that a couple times throughout the game, where you're going to get the points for them. It's a really charming game that I'm surprised is still this high on this list, but I think it's charming enough where that it stayed at this high for me. I think a lot of people are going to like it. Probably not a lot of people are going to love it like I actually do, though. So let's go to number 87. Number 87 is a small engine building game called Furnace. Furnace just came out last year, and it's a game that really surprised me. I thought I was going to like Furnace, but it surprised me because it's a completely different game than what I was anticipating just from the box cover of it. Because from the box cover of it, it looks like it's going to be this heavy Euro-style game. It's not. It's quite a simple auction bidding game that's got engine building in it. And so there's 2 phases in this game. In the first phase, you are going to bid on these cards on the top. And you have bid tokens of 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you're going to place these tokens out on these cards. And what's interesting is you don't necessarily want to win all of these cards. Because whoever wins it, whoever's got the highest bid on that card, gets to take that card into their tableau, which is a good thing. But another good thing is if you lose, you get to take that top action that's on that card however many times that you put whatever number token you put on there. So if you put a 3 on there and you lost, you get to take whatever that top action was 3 times. So if it was like get 3 silver or whatever, you get to do that 3 times. So it's really interesting balancing. You're like, I want to put a high token on here, but I don't want to win. I just want those actions. But and the second phase of it is then you go down to your tableau where you have all those cards, and then you're going to start using the ability on those cards. And the abilities are all, you're trying to turn things into points, basically. So it's this interesting engine building game after that. But the first phase is the one that I really, what really draws me to this game. So number 87 was Furnace. Going to number 86 is another worker placement Viking themed game. This is Raiders of the North Sea, another game by Shem Phillips. I'm a big fan of his. This is an interesting worker placement game in that you are going to place out a worker and take that action, which is perfectly, just your normal worker placement. But then you're actually going to take another worker from a different spot and take that action as well. So you're going to do 2 actions each time. And you're going to be collecting all these resources, and then you're going to send out raids to these other spots on the board, and you're going to end up rolling dice and stuff like that. So it's interesting. So you're going to have this boat full of Vikings that have special abilities as well. It's your typical Shem Phillips twist on a mechanism that's just really clever and brilliant, I believe. So number 86, Raiders of the North Sea. Going to number 85, and number 85 might be the oldest game on my entire top 100 list. This is Guillotine. Guillotine is a very simplistic game. You are going to have these row of these nobles, which are going to have different points on them. Then you're going to have a guillotine at the very end. On your turn, you are going to use one of your action cards. You're going to have a hand of action cards, and you're going to play this action card, and that will manipulate the line somehow, some way, pretty much. And after you use that action card, then you take whatever noble is closest to the guillotine and you behead them. And you get to take that person, put them in front of you. They're going to be worth points at the end of the game for yourself. It's a pretty morbid theme, but they do it in this kind of cartoony sort of way. I know the theme is going to throw some people off, but I really enjoy Guillotine. It's a good game to show people who haven't played a bunch of games, in my opinion. And it's an older game, but I think it's stood the test of time. I really would like if this game got a retheme, though, something that's a little bit less morbid. But as it is right now, I think it's a really good game. So number 85 is Guillotine. Moving to 84, going from a very small, simple game to a very big, complex game. This is A Feast for Odin, which is the third Viking worker placement on just this segment of the list. That's just how it happened to go when I was making this list. So yeah, but this is the biggest worker placement game that I know of. This has got the most spots. It's got like 100 spots that you can go to, and it feels more like an open world sort of thing. Like you can do whatever you want in this game. It feels like you can go farm, you can go fishing, you can go whaling, you can go hunting, you can do whatever you want to do, and it's all kind of in the hopes of taking these tiles, these polyomino shapes, and placing them onto your board, covering up your board, and collecting more resources, and also covering up these negative spots that are on your board as well. So it's this big, massive game. I just learned this game a few months back from a friend, Michelle at the Magic Meeple taught me this game. So it's a really big game. It's my favorite, probably is my favorite Uwe Rosenberg game. So number 84 is A Feast for Odin. Let's go to number 83. Number 83 is probably my favorite board game cover of all time. It's right here. This is Yamatai. This is a Bruno Catala game, my favorite designer. This is sort of a sequel of sorts to Five Tribes, or it started out as a sequel to Five Tribes and then kind of went away from that. But this is sort of like this ship building, route building game where you're trying to surround these islands with certain different colored ships, and you're going to build buildings and do different things like this and get different specialists, which are kind of like the Jinn in the Five Tribes game. A lot of people have compared it to Five Tribes, obviously, and it takes some of those mechanisms and adds in some new twists. This is a really good looking game, and games that look good just, to me, feel better, they play better. I enjoy them more if a game looks good, and this game is a looker to me. If this is getting played on the table, I would instantly stop and like, oh, what are you guys playing? And it's got some interesting mechanisms in there. So number 83 is Yamatai. Going to number 82 is a small two-player trick-taking game. This is Claim. Claim has two distinct phases in it that make it quite interesting to me. And in the first phase, you're playing out cards, you're playing out tricks, and that will actually set up your actual hand for the game in the second phase. So the first phase, all you're doing is trying to take tricks and gather cards in your hand for the next phase of the game. And the next phase of the game, you're actually just going to play the game. But how you are going to score, it's like this, it's got fantasy creatures as the suits of the cards, and it's got art by the Miko, which I love the art from Miko. Whoever's got the most of each of the suits actually wins. So you have to have the most of each suit, and whoever's won the most suits then wins the game. So yes, number 82 is Claim. Going to our very last game for this set, number 81 is Res Arcana. I've had a weird history with Res Arcana. The first time I played it, I didn't like it at all. Second time I played it, I loved it. Third time I played it, I thought it was okay. Fourth time I played it, I liked it a lot again. So it goes back and forth. But the first game was by far my least favorite. I was like, it's an engine building game, but you only have a deck of 8 cards to build your engine. So at first I was like, what? I can't do anything. Like, I don't have enough cards. But once you get over that fact and you delve into the game, it's just a simple, fun game. So you're just trying to get to 10 points or whatever it is for the original game. I've got the expansion with the pearls, which it has enhanced my love for this game. So yeah, right away I started out not liking it, and I liked it, didn't like it, but I do really like this game. I think it's kind of a genius game when I think about it, of how simple it is. What he's done, the designer, what he's done with so little cards. So yes, number 81 is Res Arcana. Thank you all for watching, and if you want to see the rest of this series, make sure to like and subscribe to see more weekly content from me, Shane, at the board meeting in the future. Hope you all have an amazing day. Take care, everyone.